So, I think everyone and their mother, father, and dog knows what this game is because of this little goofy goober.
Because I like trains.
But in case if you've been living under a rock or now just woke up from a coma, on May 18th of this year, a small indie horror game called Indigo Park will release on Steam. And just like with other games like FNAF, Bendy, Poppy Playtime, and other games that would fall into the subgenre of horror dubbed mascot horror, would take the internet by storm. While many YouTubers were playing this game during its craze, I decided to play the game myself during my free time because I had nothing else better to do. So I did, and then I realized something. I went into this game with the littlest of expectations and just thinking this would be Garden of Banban all over again. But I truly think this has potential to become the next big thing in the indie horror scene. In this video, I'll be going over 3 main chapters: the origins of the game and how it came to be, my initial review of the game, going over the good and bad, and why I think this game, like I said before, has potential to be the next big horror game in the near future. So grab your conductor hats and let's hop on Rambley's Railroad as we explore the potential of Indigo Park.
He said it! He said it!
But before I do that, I'm doing the annoying YouTube thing where I ask you that 8.8 out of 91.2% of you guys haven't subscribed yet. So if you haven't, please help a brother out by subscribing. It's free and it helps out the channel grow. Also hit the notification bell to never miss an upload. Anyways, let's move on. Now, who was responsible for the creation of Indigo? Well, the game was made by YouTuber Unique Geese. Before developing the game, his actual first shot of becoming a game developer would be when he made Garden of Banban Reincarnated, a remake to the very well-received first chapter of the game under the same name. A teaser for the game would first be released on his channel on July 17th, and would be followed up a week later on July 23rd on his video titled, "I'm making my very own indie mascot horror game," or to put it in short, he talks about different aspects of the game and what to expect from it. The first official gameplay trailer will be released on October 13th, and at the time of recording this video, has fucking 986,000 views.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
While Indigo was still in development, Geese would sprinkle in some sneak peeks here and there about meeting Rambley and the other characters in the game, as well as making the bold claims of how Indigo Park would change and save mascot horror. The final trailer of the game would be uploaded on May 14th of this year, and after that, the game would be released on Steam and would receive in return overwhelmingly positive reviews. But are these reviews bullshitting me or telling the truth? Let's find out in my review. Now before I fanboy and talk about all the positives I have with this game, which there are a lot of, I want to discuss 3 main issues and criticisms I have. Kind of like being at a restaurant and ordering a terrible appetizer at first, but having a very delicious and satisfying main course dinner. For starters, I personally think that the critter cuff mechanic that's introduced in the early game is pretty damn useless. Besides from opening doors in areas where you're forced to progress through, you barely use it at all, even if it's an important segment of it. Even though it's a gimmick mechanic that every mascot horror game has been doing since, like Poppy Playtime with the grab pack and Garden of Banban with a drone, those have been more useful than the critter cuff in my humble opinion. Another thing that I personally don't like is the chase sequence. While I do think that the build-up to Molly Macaw is one of the best build-ups to a monster I've seen in a horror game in a long time, I just thought that the chase sequence was just too lame, that the build-up was just for nothing. I mean, during the train ride, she literally breathes down your neck at one point, which I didn't even hear during my first playthrough. And the last and most important issue I have with this game is for being marketed as a horror game, it isn't all that scary. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some spooky moments here and there, like the scripted Lloyd the Lion jump scare and Molly Macaw getting her head decapitated, and the lighting that's your typical horror game lighting. But other than that, I didn't get a sense of fear or dread once while playing this game. And that's pretty bad when the sole job of your game is to literally scare the shit out of people. But despite all the bad things I said, I don't think this is a bad game. It's far away from that. There is some love and care put into this game that I can respect. I think that the monster designs are pretty decent, but if Geese had a bigger budget to work with, I think that the models could have ended up being better. The 2D animated Rambley Raccoon by Jake Neutron is fantastic. The choppy animation really works for him. On the topic of Rambley, his voice acting is great. Otterboy VA gave the character so much life and makes the character a very likable protagonist. The other voice actors for the other characters like Molly, Lloyd, and Finley are also pretty good. The soundtrack for the game is a certified hood banger, especially the game's ending credits song, Rambly Review. That's been stuck in my head since. The environments in the game are also pretty good. There's one in particular that looks like it took inspiration from the superstar daycare from Security Breach, with a very creative puzzle along with it. I also like to point out that there is a few references to Five Nights at Freddy's fan games, like Playtime with Percy and The Day Shift at Freddy's. Now, in conclusion, despite all the flaws I have with Indigo Park, I managed to have an overall good time. I also completely forgot to mention that the game is completely free, so you can check the game out anytime you want without paying a single penny. For a rating, I'd probably give this game a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. It's good, but not as great as the fans are making it out to be. Now here's the big question you've been asking and why you clicked on this video. How can Indigo Park have potential to be one of the next big mascot horror giant? Well, if Unique Geese wants to make his chapters better than the next, he should probably follow this step-by-step process. 1. Should take the criticisms that Chapter 1 got to heart and apply it to Chapter 2 in future chapters. Number 2. Should ask his fans once in a while what would they love to see in his game. And 3. Repeat the process until the final chapter comes out and the game comes to an end. There's also an additional rule that you should follow by some extent. Don't have set release dates for your future chapters right away. I feel like that's the easiest mistake to make when you're a game developer. If I were a game dev, I would probably have a set release date for when a game is done, and so it doesn't turn out to be a fundamentally broken and glitchy mess. I wonder where I heard people said that before. So when Geese thinks a chapter is done, he can set a proper release date. And considering that Chapter 2 met its $50,000 goal on Kickstarter, I can say that Chapter 2 could be better than Chapter 1. But then, only time can tell. And that's pretty much about it. Like I said in my review, while Indigo Park does has its flaws here and there, I do think it's a decent mascot horror game and a breath of fresh air for the mascot horror genre. It clearly shows how much love and care Unique Geese puts into this game and how much he cares for it, and I'm very invested to see what he has planned for the game in the future. Also off topic, but can we acknowledge the fact that mascot horror has been slowly redeeming itself? We went from the biggest piece of shit that was the Garten of Banban saga, to Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 being great, a new game called Zoocosis coming soon right around the corner, and FNAF's 10-year anniversary game looking stellar. But until we meet again, this is That One Gorehound signing off, and remember to have a bloody good day or night. Bye bye.